healings, guidance. This is the Crop Circle Podcast. I am Raul Kita Kishina. Let's have some fun exploring our imaginations, shifting views, mindsets, and lifestyle. With us today is David Wilburn. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So how's your day today?
Doing good, man. It's a good start.
Good.
Easy
good.
going.
Yes.
Beautiful weather out here in Southern California.
That's right. It was a great weekend. It's starting to be kind of tropical weather today, huh?
Yeah, I do like it.
Yeah. So how was your weekend? Did you do any shows or get out there recording or anything?
No, this weekend I've actually been taking it easy recently because I fractured my leg,
Oh,
my
yeah.
left leg. So there was a show recently. One of the bands that I've been working with, Control Defect, had a show at Aztec Brewing with another one of my really good friends' bands, Ritual Potion.
Oh, yeah, Ritual Potion.
Yeah, I was supposed to play that show, but of course the situation, and so I'm sure it's just better off without. And going out and doing things when my condition is pretty difficult right now, so I'm just really trying to take it easy.
Right. And so is that from crowd surfing or?
No, dude, honestly, I have no idea how I had gotten injured. I actually just ended up waking up and it was hurting. But I tried to take my dog on a walk using a cane, and that was not a good idea. The next day, I couldn't handle any weight or pressure on my leg anymore. And I didn't even know it. Yeah, it took a while to actually figure out that I had actually fractured my bone, but I thought it was like I pulled a muscle or something like that. But honestly, I have no idea how it happened, so it's kind of curious as far as that
Right.
goes.
Well, hey, man, I'm 55 and some days just woke up.
Dude, no joke.
Hey, what's that?
Does this mean I'm getting older or what?
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you did.
I know I'm like reaching my mid-30s, so
Right.
it's not good. It's not a good feeling, unfortunately.
And you said you were supposed to play, so what instrument do you play?
I play bass guitar. Yeah, I've been playing bass guitar for a long time now.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
thankfully.
And do you have a favorite bass? Like I hear different brands of guitars and so forth.
No, I've been using pretty much the same bass. It was gifted to me by my good friend's father, who was a father figure to me just as well, Dave Kepler. He gifted me my first bass ever, and I've been rocking with it since.
So,
I have bought in some other ones. I used to use, that bass that I do use is a Carvin. No, it's a Schecter. It's a Schecter Diamond Series 3. But I've been rocking with that thing since the start, like I said. And I've gone through some other basses. I had a viola bass that was cool. Rocked that. It was a semi-hollow body. But it just, I don't know. I didn't really dig the style and the end result. So went back to the original. Been rocking with that since.
yeah. So do you like those particular models that you mentioned because they have like a psychedelic vibe or sound to them when you play them? I've heard that like older instruments or certain instruments can kind of get a certain sound out of them more like that.
Yeah, so for my particular playing style, I like a more like mid-tone warmth, which, and I also use flat wound strings. So that also adds a little more warmth to the body, not as punchy. Um, I definitely like to represent more of that support role in my bands.
Yeah.
I don't really get too showy, or like get too technical with my riffs. I do like, and then with my setup and things like that, the semi-hollow body was really cool because that does also add a little more of that mid-tone range
Yeah.
to pop out through a little bit more. It was cool.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I would consider it again, but I just eventually I just didn't like the actual design of the shape. It was a little too retro for me, a little too Beatles-esque, because that's how it was kind of like modeled after. So
That's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
So you said so many bands. Do you have a favorite band that you've been in or are in, or?
Well, I mean, definitely my original band. So I was starting off. I actually in high school I played baseball.
Baseball.
And
I
I
would
was
imagine
on
that.
yeah, I was on the baseball team up until senior year. Um, and then there's, just situations happen within the scene, and I realized that I didn't really want that wasn't my thing. And before I started playing baseball, I was hanging out with a different group of guys who I would consider like, my old like nerd friends,
Right.
right? Because we were the ones who were like playing Dungeons and Dragons and
That's
stuff
what's
like
up.
that.
Yeah, I love dragons
But
and I'm a
then,
nerd.
but then I ended up getting into baseball, right? And so I hadn't hung out with them or spoke to any of those guys all throughout my baseball years. Eventually realized that, baseball wasn't for me, and those the kids that I was hanging out with didn't really seem like my real friends in that aspect. And so I,
Like
you know,
jocks and Hessians or like
right, it always seemed to be like some sort of competition in one sense or another
uh,
between someone who's supposed to be your friend.
right.
And then so
Athletes.
yeah, and and so I just wanted to, get back to my roots, get back to, my old friend group.
Right.
And so I ended up quitting baseball my senior year, went back hanging out with my old homies, and that's when like I remember I was starting to get into just like my own sense of music and like the genres that I am into. And it was definitely influenced by, of course, like my friend group, but one particular friend, Miles, my really good friend, Miles Ricketson, he was a big influence on all of us, and he had helped me to play bass guitar in the first place.
Okay.
I remember I sent him like, I don't know which one exactly, but I sent him like a song, and it was a bass heavy song. And I've always been into like oldies. I've always been into like because my like growing up in like a Hispanic family, my parents or my mom, my aunt was always into like Zapp and Roger and things like
Yeah.
that. So I was always into like
That's
that
right.
funk kind of shit.
Uh-huh.
And so I sent Miles a song that was like really bass driven funk style.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, like you like the bass? Like you should start playing bass. And I was like, well, why not? Might as well.
That's dope. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So he actually was the person who made me actually really consider it and pretty much helped me to go forward with that decision and helped me learn just the basics, the pentatonic scale,
Okay.
just super basic stuff. Um, and I just took that literally. I learned that scale and I just ran with it. Started writing my own music.
Oh well.
Started to
Came naturally for you like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
get more involved with the band. And so doing that, like Miles played guitar. Um, we already had a good friend in the whole friend group, Shane, who's playing drums. He was in drumline in high school,
Uh-huh.
so he was already just really good at drums. Miles was really good at guitar, and Miles was a few years older than us. So he was already out of high school and all that time, but he was always been noodling in his room. He was like that kind of the the person who's just solo writer and just always had these real cool ideas in his head,
Uh,
and he'd have a riff or something, and he'd help me to play along with it.
right.
That kind of helped to influence my personal style as well.
Yeah.
So Shane was the drummer, Miles was guitar, I played bass, and we started jamming in Shane's garage. Shane's house was like the whole hangout space that everyone would hang out in, the whole neighborhood, like the whole friend group.
Right.
His house was the place, and
That's
we
cool.
ended up forming a band, playing, jamming out in his garage.
That's the best.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then at that point, we were in an instrumental band. We were called the Templates.
The
The
templates.
Templates. And then eventually, we had another friend who lived down the street. His name was Casey, and he ended up coming into the band playing rhythm guitar. So
Sorry to
backup.
cut you off. Were you more of like a funk band at the time, or what were you guys playing like? Just
Oh, so
whatever you
yeah,
guys jammed like.
for the instrumentals with the templates, it wasn't super heavy or anything like that. Because once we got into Red Wizard, which was the band that we eventually became,
Yep. Which is a
um,
psych rock
that
band.
that definitely solidified our style.
Uh,
But when we first started off with the templates, it was a little more funky. It did have that.
hmm
We used to jam this song, "The Sissy Strut" by the Meters. A super cool song.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely like Miles was super into that kind of stuff too.
Thanks, Miles, man, for the
Yeah,
inspiration.
super huge inspiration. I don't think I'd be playing music if it wasn't for him.
That's what's up.
So I
That's what's
definitely
up.
give like all the appreciation for that.
And so that was a little while ago. So bring us to like about 5 years ago. What band were you in about 5 years ago? You,
Oh, well, here, let me go and continue
you
on
know,
with the
met you around that time.
timeline.
Yeah, please, no problem. Take your time. Didn't mean to rush you.
No, for sure. So we started off as the templates, right?
Uh-huh.
And then that formed into Red Wizard when we got our singer, Travis.
And just
Um,
to be clear, Red Wizard is when you went to more of a heavier rock sound,
right, Red
right?
Wizard is definitely the heavy rock, heavy
Psychedelic
rock,
rock, yeah.
um, a little metal,
Yep,
not too heavy metal, but got that metal in there too.
right.
We're a little bit, and we have some. So Travis brought in, he was our vocalist, and he also played harmonica. So he ended up catching us. I think he caught us at like a house party or something like that, right? We were playing a house party, and we were the instrumental band, and we were playing some heavy shit at that point,
Yeah,
starting to get into it. And he was in the crowd, super like really into it, really dug our set, came up to us afterwards, like we just connected right away, and then yeah, he ended up becoming our singer. Um, and he plays harmonica too, so we were able to cover
yeah,
some songs like Black Sabbath song, The
right,
Wizard, uh, and our name was Red Wizard too, so it was
right.
super cool playing that.
Did you guys record any of that video or in any kind of way?
I'm sure there's something out there
Hmm.
that you can find, but we don't think we have the Wizard recorded in a solid format.
Right.
No,
And so you
yeah.
played house parties and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's where we started off. Started off playing house parties.
I love that. I
We
remember.
actually, we were underage. We were under 21 and we started playing at some of the local bar venues that allowed us to, but as soon as we finished playing our set, we had to leave. We weren't allowed to stay.
Right, right, just because you're young. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
that's how we started off. It was cool. Yeah, it's been a while. I
Uh-huh.
haven't really thought about that shit in forever.
That's cool. That's cool. Thanks for sharing with us. And so, after you started getting your creative juices going and you were flowing around a little bit, you started getting into thinking of things like mind flowers. You did wanted to do like a zine after a while, or
Right, yeah. Okay, cool. So my involvement with like Red Wizard, we ended up touring down to Texas. We went up to Oregon.
oh, actually
No,
touring.
not Oregon. We went up to Colorado.
Uh-huh.
Toured out to Texas, and then just like being involved in the whole music and art scene and seeing the different kind of aspects that each city has. Um, really got me into wanting to capture that
Mm,
in a whole separate sense,
right.
and and the whole concept of mind flowers, because I was into all that music, but also I was into like at that point I was really into mushrooms, and I was really getting really into cannabis, and also at that
You're of
point,
legal age now.
yes, of course. And also at that point, I was also really into like storytelling and like I was at some point I was into like reading a lot of like short story books,
Mhm.
like sci-fi books and things
Oh
like
yeah,
that, like kind of
those
like
are cool.
horror-esque books,
Right.
but more of the short story format. And then I got really into that kind of concept of storytelling, and so Mind Flowers. The name Mind Flowers was actually influenced by my ex-girlfriend, but the concept around it was music, art, mushrooms, cannabis, and written word. And so I only did one issue, which was covered my band Red Wizard.
Uh-huh.
But the whole concept of that was to have a local band and take one of their songs, take their lyrics, and write a short story out of that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like might maybe relatable to exactly how the song is, but using the exact lyrics within the story.
Right.
So like
Oh, that's
hearing
heavy.
the song, you could directly relate it to the story itself. Um,
Like eating mushrooms and watching The Wall from Pink Floyd. Right.
right,
Or smoking.
for
Not that I've
sure.
done that.
Yeah, dude. Um, and so I was just super into like mushrooms at the time. I really thought like mushrooms holistically, they have so much benefits other than the psychedelic
Right.
experience.
Microdosing, it helps people with anxiety and
Yeah.
lots of other
And
effects.
I mean, just beyond the ones that are psychedelic, there's a variety amount of mushrooms that are beneficial health wise, like help your immune system, and also literally like uh, and this is like a real thing. Mushrooms are the one thing that allow plants to transfer nutrients within the soil.
Oh, I actually heard something like that about a year ago. But please go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I mean, it's just like the relationship that we have towards fungus, in that sense is like we wouldn't be alive as a species.
Right.
A lot of life on Earth is dependent on that, um, and it's kind of something that's like I don't know. I got really into really into that in the beginning, and I was like, dude, this is insane. This is mind blowing.
Right.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, and it just goes over most people's heads, you know.
Yes.
And there's so much to it. But eventually it wasn't like a focus that I had cemented myself on. I'm still super into it, but I'm not extremely knowledgeable about the subject, right?
I was just about to ask if you've ever grown mushrooms or psychedelic mushrooms.
No, I would love to though. It's a whole project within itself, you know, and I've got so many projects already going.
Yeah. When I was in my 20s, had a roommate, Kid Irie, and a roommate next door to us we called the Snake Master. He was like a reptile distributor of some kind of exotic reptiles and stuff, you know. And so anyway, he was experimenting with the idea, just out of being a scientist, to actually grow psychedelic mushrooms. And so we were going over, you know, Chief, and then just building on the idea. And we said, you know, doing the math, calculating with each other. And we're, we're creatives and we're doers, so we try to put two and two together and make things happen. So we actually got like a two Tupperware cake type size cookie sheet type things, you know,
Hmm.
and we grew some mushrooms in those,
Nice.
and it was a great experience. We'll sell that story for another time, but it was definitely was able to be done and happened in a rather short time. And again, it's a fungus, and the way it happened was all organic and it really wasn't that complicated. However, it did need a sterile type
Right,
of
the whole sterile
scenario.
environment
Yeah,
to
that was the part.
inoculate the medium and stuff.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
with like
dude.
it being lifing and being that young, it just wasn't always around to make that a priority to continue doing. You know?
Right.
But it's just like check did that, you know.
That's
So,
cool as
yeah,
fuck.
yeah, yeah. And I
I've,
still, you know, we both know we still appreciate mushrooms to this day. So
right.
that's cool too.
I've definitely had my fair share of experiences with mushrooms,
Right, 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 yeah,
but not so much growing them.
right, right. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean that's where like that's where Mind Flowers was really rooted on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was capable of actually making an actual printed issue, that I have several copies of
I have a copy
still.
as well.
Yeah,
That's
it
when I
was
first
like,
learned about you, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's a real good idea." I was reading
yeah,
through
dude.
it and got turned on, and
I think you know, physical print media is pretty dead,
yeah,
or if
lost art
not,
for
like
sure.
it's not a big focus. Most people are into like digital media now, right? But I feel like the physical medium is still something that's special. That's why I really like vinyl records, and I
Right,
feel like that if that still has a place, then you know, well, why not this other
right.
aspect, right, in the
Yes,
magazine form?
right.
But honestly, with that, um, I want to like moving forward, right? So that was Mind Flowers. I ended up walking away from that because, you know, mainly I didn't want to. I shortened the focus, right? I'm not super focused on mushrooms or cannabis or
Right.
even the written word aspect as much as I
Growing
would
up.
like to. But we've dropped all that focus, and I also dropped the name, largely because it was mainly influenced from my ex.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's a cool name, and I still really like it, but I don't. I just, you know, I can't continue forward
Thinking about it
with
with every
that
project.
with
Yeah.
that attachment to it, right? And so around that point, after all that shit happened, right? I was okay. So that was what? That was with Red Wizard, Mind Flowers. Eventually, Red Wizard disbands, right? Um, Miles moves away. Uh, and then so Red Wizard's not very active right now, but we have a brother band. Literally, Travis, our singer, has an older brother, Dave as well,
Okay.
who is in a band, Bedlam's Edge.
Okay. Yeah, that Dave. Okay.
And we would perform together, Red Wizard and Bedlam's Edge.
Right.
and so we were already really close. And Bedlam's Edge's bassist ends up moving away too, and so
Works out.
Bedlam's Edge needs a bassist, and I'm already pretty like familiar with their material, right? So, and I just fucking love those guys, and I
Yeah.
love their music,
Well, I like the
and
music too.
so they asked me into the band, and hell yeah, I fucking joined.
Yeah.
And so Bedlam's Edge is my active one still as of yet.
Right.
We're still active, but that that one was like the brother band to Red Wizard, and then just as well, with Red Wizard and everything throughout that whole time, I was writing my own material, just
Just about to
solo.
ask who's writing the music. Since you're creative with writing, where you writing songs?
Right, for Red Wizard, I have written a couple songs for Red Wizard, Wild Woman, Rebellion.
Is that about
Um,
your ex, Wild Woman,
no, that
Rebellion?
wasn't.
Oh,
No.
okay. Just wondering.
Um, that was partly because I was like one of the wild ones. I would get like really fucking wild, not like super like crazy crazy, but I would get like over, just go take it to take it too far. And then but yeah, so I've written a couple songs for Red Wizard. But I've also had other material that I've written that I really didn't feel was right for Red Wizard. Um, and so after that had all passed just as well, I still had material that I was sitting on and I wanted to produce. And one of my neighbors, Aaron, he literally lives like right down the street. I can walk less than 5 minutes to his house. He lives down the street, and I notice him jamming guitar in his garage. And so I just, hit him up and be like, "Hey, dude, you want to start jamming? You want to start learning my songs?" And I'd hang out with him in his garage, and I'd teach him my songs, and I'd pretty much just play the bass line. And I don't never really expected him to play exactly what I was playing. Just gave him free will to do whatever he wanted over.
Mhm.
And dude, he fucking nailed it. He created some sick uh parts over my rhythm parts and
Right.
over my bass lines or whatever. And so I start with like a riff, and I have vocals too. I've written lyrics for it, and I'll show that to him, and then he'll just create whatever he has over on top of it.
That's cool.
And I remember back in the day, that was quite a while ago, like close to 10 years now. Back then, we were just jamming in his garage, and that was when his father was still alive. And his father was like, he wasn't into like giving props too much into,
Because of the music
he wasn't
style.
very like outspoken as a person. Like I never really talked to him very
Okay.
much,
Right.
but when it came to us jamming in his garage, he'd be there just chilling, just like in recognition of like we had something good going on. Like
Uh,
that was a cool notion,
right.
to
Yeah. No, it speaks a
experience,
lot. This for
right?
him to do that.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
nothing really has to be said, but his presence being there,
Right.
enjoying our music was
Yeah.
really cool.
Actions speak louder than words sometimes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that was, we started jamming out in his garage, and I needed a drummer. And the one of our other brother bands back in the Red Wizard
Mm-hmm.
era was Great Electric Quest.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And back then, the original lineup had Corey Ciota. And so eventually Corey had ended up leaving that band, Great Electric Quest. And I always really appreciated and looked up to his talent as a drummer.
Respect.
And his particular influences in music is really good too. So I look up to him as a great uh, artist.
Oh.
And so we needed a drummer, me and Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't in a band, and so I hopped on that, tried to, get him into the band, and he agreed. And so we started playing for a little while. With that band we created was Arugula.
Arugula.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was with Arugula.
Uh-huh.
And we're still around, but we're not like active.
Right. That's the
No.
one I've heard the least music from over the years,
Yeah.
which has only been a few years that I've known you, but that's the one I've heard from the least. And so I'd like to, if you guys ever do get together and jam out and play or something, let me know.
For
I'd like to come
sure.
check it out.
Yeah, we have an EP that we released. It has one original and two covers, and that was released quite a long time ago too.
That's what's up.
But
And so how is it doing you said an EP?
Yeah.
And so is that on wax or like vinyl?
No, it's not. It's
Um,
just a digital release.
I thought you were gonna say CD. I was like,
No.
vinyl's more cool than CD,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, Red Wizard has some vinyl pressings, which is super cool.
Mhm.
We were able to get on our first hookup, like big hookup with vinyl, like a record label, was STV Records. We had our album printed with them, and then we have a 45-inch printed. We have several releases, really. A couple through Gloria Death Records just as
Yeah.
well.
Uh-huh. And
Um,
Glory of Death is through Buddy.
yeah, Buddy, and he's the guy with the Great Electric Quest.
Right, right. And so, remind me if I'm correct, Buddy had the vinyl records that had the mushrooms in it, as well as like flowers or something.
Right,
Like
yeah,
it was like
he'll
real
get vinyl
eclectic.
pressed with just all kinds of random shit too.
Yeah,
It's
and they're
literally just
clear and
wax.
weird colors and stuff.
It's
That's
super
cool.
cool. He's
Gives a
doing
lot of
su
life to it.
Yeah, he's doing really cool work and is really supportive of the local and underground scene.
Hmm.
Shout out to Buddy,
Yeah,
Gloria
shout
Death
out to Buddy,
Records,
Buddy Sabbath
making dreams
Buddy.
come true over there,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. No, we recorded a couple of his shows, and man, the stage presence is off the hook. The crowd really gets into it. Really
Yeah,
good shows.
yeah,
Really good shows.
yeah. So, yeah, Arugula is not very active right now at this moment. And then, with my entire involvement with the music scene and the whole back, the whole like history with Mind Flowers, I still wanted to continue forward. And being being in Arugula, Aaron, right, my guitarist who lives
Right.
down the street, he ended up introducing me to Nino.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Nino.
Yeah, Nino.
Super Nino.
And Nino is who is my now business partner with Realm Drifter.
Yes.
And Nino is actually the person who coined the name Realm Drifter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So
I didn't
I already had this brand, right? And I
know.
already had the idea in the sense of what we wanted to do, like cover artists, cover bands,
Mhm.
but I didn't want to stick with the name, right? So I didn't know how to continue in that sense.
Oh, right.
And he brought up the name Realm Drifter,
That's cool.
and it's a fucking sick ass name.
Yeah, I thought it was always you that did the Realm Drifter. It's a really amazing name.
Yeah,
Super creative.
no, for sure. So Nino is my partner
Yep.
with Realm Drifter, and he's become an extremely close friend just as well.
Yes.
And we started off. He's with video recording.
Yep. With ITE Media.
Yeah, so he does video recording, and that's how we got introduced. Aaron introduced Nino to me because I was doing the audio
Right.
and the audio concepts with my magazine and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and he realized that Nino could help me out.
Yes.
And so he connected me with Nino, and ever since then, we started doing these more in-depth focuses on bands and artists. We've done a couple features on local businesses as well, and that's something that I want to continue forward to do. I really want to keep the emphasis on local music, but just as well reach out to other artists and businesses as well. Give that highlight, give that focus, and just the awareness.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
that's what the
respect.
whole magazine's about.
Yes.
And also, honestly, I wanted to try and bring the physical print back.
Oh.
And a good idea that Nino had was doing newspaper prints rather than like a magazine
Mm-hmm.
type of issue.
Yes.
And so I thought that was actually a pretty cool idea. And I think I still want to try to do that. It's just there's so much work to do already,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's hard to just keep up with all of it, right?
That's a good thing, though. It shows that, you guys are growing, and it sounds like you're growing organically, naturally. And so, that's a good thing. It'd be better than not being busy because you're not getting the business,
Right.
But I know it's
busy
like
is
to
good
have your
for
own
sure.
time, I was similar that way. I appreciate you guys letting me come along and be a part of Realm Drifter and experience everything with you. It's been amazing for me, and again, working a full-time job and then having to go and make sure to meet with the bands or carry equipment, and then doing the editing and all the different work that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. It definitely can be grueling, and putting in that work. And then that's even all that ugly stuff. That's not that's not the that is the fun stuff. That's not talking about the actual business end of it. That is the boring, not fun part of it, you know. And so, yeah, I respect what you guys are doing with local businesses from like was it Poorhouse in Oceanside,
Hmm.
Booze Brothers in Vista,
Hmm.
did something down in the Cosba down in San Diego, or no, or
Hmm.
no, just those two mostly. Is there
Yeah, we mainly focus on North County.
North
Yeah,
County? Good,
our
good.
main focus is North County. We do travel out to San Diego, um, but it is yeah, no. I mean, we love San Diego County, North County
Yes.
in general.
Yeah, you gotta get it at home first before you can get someplace else, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and that's good. And it's also cool that because some of the bands I understand come from far and wide to work with Rome Drifter as well. So I heard of like was it Drug Hunt that came from Arizona or something, or if I
No, Drug
remember,
Hunt's local.
who was the guys I met from Arizona? It was when I first started working with you guys, I thought there was a few heads that were
That
from
was
not
probably
local.
through Gloria Death.
Okay.
Yeah, Gloria Death often has bands that they work with touring through,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll try and either cover those events or try and
Ah,
reach out to them because we
got it.
know that they're in connection with someone that we're in connection with.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So networking a lot with other bands and promoters in all kind of ways.
Yeah, just trying to reach out,
Right.
it's definitely a difficult task always getting, I don't know, just the attention of some people, but um and we end up just going and capturing whatever we can, honestly, acting like we were meant to be there in the first place.
That's what's up. That because you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And so, one of the things that I was hoping you're going to lead into, which is one of the fun parts where I came in again, is the Realm Drifter Studios. You started recording the bands in studio, video, then would do a small interview, some brief questions, have a show, and promote the video out at the Blues Brothers
Right, a local
or
venue.
yeah, local venues, and then the bands would play after the video premieres for the crowd there.
Yep.
That seemed to be a really great formula. How do you like that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we're still kind of really refining it, but that's definitely the basis of it. We like to work with local, mainly local, but if we have an opportunity to work with a touring act,
Hmm.
we're definitely open for that as well.
That's cool.
But yeah, even whether or not we capture an event or we have an in-studio production, we're capable of working with just about anyone, but we do kind of have a focus on like the hard rock, heavy metal, psych scene.
Of course.
But really the doors are open.
Right.
It's just we support our most personal interests first,
Yeah,
and
there's nothing
then
wrong with that.
yeah, because that's what really drives us,
Right.
being in the scene. I want to support the scene in itself for sure, and that's, includes these kinds of artists and musicians, right?
Right. And in my opinion, psych rock is a timeless classic type of music from the 60s and 70s to now. You know, it's something that will always be embraced in some form. Like last night, I was listening to some old Ike and Tina Turner, and she was talking about, you know, doing what you want to do and the way that bass line was coming through and everything. And and knowing how much that bands from back then influenced and inspired so many modern day bands and so many other bands out of that time that people don't always stop and consider Bo Diddley or even Ike and Tina Turner as the rock that they were back in the day, you know? And so that was just, and it still had a sense of funk, but even more, it was like an aggression to it that is still psychedelic rock because that was that era, you know what I mean?
Mm,
But it sounds that's overlooked, and I can see how it inspires a lot of stuff from today in different bands, you know what I mean?
right.
And so it's pretty amazing just to see that, again, it's a timeless classic thing that I think will always be promoted for movies, commercials, products, all kind of things. You know what I mean?
Right. It's timeless classics,
Yeah,
things like that,
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that's been ingrained into culture as it is. That's what I guess artists, that's not necessarily why we do it, but to have an impact like that, it just goes a long way.
I agree. I agree. And so, do you have any favorite bands that, as far as shows that you go to nowadays when you go out? Like, some of my favorite since I've been around you guys is like Los Paisanos,
Oh yeah.
of course, Red Wizard. There's American Bear.
Yeah, yeah.
There's I don't think we did any work with it, but I saw at one of the shows Cream Pie,
Right.
and and of course Buddy Sabbath. Is it Sabbath?
Sabbath, Buddy Sabbath.
Sabbath, Buddy Sabbath.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, there's
the
just so
tribute.
many. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you have any that you'd like to do an honorable mention for?
I mean, shout out to the homies, Ritual
Oh,
Potion.
yeah, Ritual Potion.
Uh,
Forgot about Mike at Ritual
yeah,
Potion.
Great Electric Quest. Shout out to the homies, Cosmonastic,
Yeah. Oh
Los
yeah.
Paisanos for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What about Muerte?
yeah, Muerte. There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
we've worked with them for sure.
yeah.
All
Those
the
good
all the
guys.
homies that we've worked with in the past, we've
Yeah.
had over, I don't know, we've had we've worked with several groups in the scene, and
Right.
that's just what we want to do. We want to be able to support whether or not we're getting anything immediately out of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Well, like you said, supporting the scene, keeping it alive, that's really does it a lot. And the timeless memories that people have with experiences, bonds, with
right.
people at the events, it's timeless. I know for me, it makes me feel like I've had a chance to uh, live a dream that I didn't know I had, because almost everybody, no matter who or where they're from, at some point would like to see behind the scenes of that rock star life, and be a part of that rock star life in some regard, And when some of the characters like T Sweat was just fully in character, you know what I mean, and until he was done with the whole night, and just like not saying he's performing and not being himself, but at the same time he was like, hey, people come out. He was telling me that people come out to see a show and to see and to get away and escape. So to see people perform and be that character, that or that superstar or rock star, let them see that and let them be that. You know what I mean, and kind of let go for the time that they're at that event or show. You know what I
Right,
mean?
for sure.
And I respect that a whole lot because, again, as me being a fan of his band and the music and the scene, it made me feel like, oh, I was fanning out. As the little kid in me, wanted to be like get autographs from all these guys. You know what I mean, and get pictures with all these guys. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, I don't want to fan out too much because I'm working with them, and it's like, working around celebrities in other regards. You know what I mean? So I look up to these guys as any top celebrity because they're doing it, man. You know
No,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
Yeah.
I really find it. I I find it. I'm very fortunate, and grateful to be able to work with all these various artists that I do look up to within the scene. I'm first and foremost, I'm a fan, that's for
Right.
sure.
Yes.
And then beyond that, I try to support them through my my value, or the value that I bring is, recording audio, and, me supporting them going to their shows and buying merchandise and things like that.
Yes.
So, um, yeah, and to be able to make, I don't know, to be able to make kind of living, or a certain standard that you might be able to support yourself from doing, that is something that I strive to do,
Hmm.
even though it may not be anywhere near that at yet. That's not the reason why I'm doing it,
Right.
but to get to a certain point where I can be financially capable of supporting myself by doing things like this,
That's the
I would
dream.
love to do that for sure.
That's the dream.
But yeah, dude. And
Yeah.
until then, I'm just gonna keep on going.
Yeah, yeah, and hey, that's the best that we can do, anybody. And
Yeah.
it's cool to me, and I respect you so much and say thank you for the inspiration for me to do it as well, because as an old guy, I had some different projects in the past, and once my children and family got to the point where they're self-sufficient and out and doing their own thing, I kind of just started to just lay back and just lay back, almost be lazy. I still, skate and surf a little bit, but as far as being getting my creative juices out and making value out of it as well, not just being creative, and then getting out of my comfort zone of something that I'm not familiar with how to do or the people. And even though I'm a fan of the scene, it's still intimidating because I'm looking up to people that I look up to, and, celebs almost. And
Right.
so,
Oftentimes in the things that we do, it's you only have one chance to do it,
right,
right?
right,
Whether or not like you're capable of doing another performance within that performance, that's like your shot
right,
to give it your all, to you know
exactly.
to be who you are. you know
100%. And so I again want to thank you for letting me be a part of that journey with you on it and with Nino, and to be able to experience all of that. It's been a blessing for me because again, it makes me feel young again, and again gives me an excuse to get off my butt and out the house when I would just be sitting around, you know.
Right. No,
And
for
so
sure. I
it's the
love
best.
it.
And I'd be sitting around listening to music, so to be out there listening to music, getting good food, meeting friends, getting experiences, you know, seeing different places that I wouldn't have gone myself, you know. Again, it's out of that comfort zone and that bubble. So
Right.
again, thank you
It's
very
that
much
real
for that.
immersion within it, which is super cool to experience.
Yes, yes, yes. You kind of mentioned something that I wanted to ask you about, and that's merch. I notice you have a Realm Drifter shirt on. I've got the Realm Drifter hoodie on right here, you know. And so basically, I've been really impressed with the art that you design, and you haven't really talked about being much of a creative artist as far as graphic art is concerned. Earlier you were also mentioning some of the books and styles of things that you read, being fantasy, sci-fi, fantasy, and almost kind of the macabre. And then when I see some of the graphics and stuff that you've designed, and as well as the psychedelic, man, I'm a fan of your artwork as well, not just a fan of your music and other crafting. And so, man, you
Thank you.
got some really cool designs out there that, you know, I look forward to supporting the merch with what you guys do with Realm Drifter. There's a few designs that, man, are really, really cool. Really cool.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
mean, I do art myself as well. We also work with various very talented artists that we have artwork done for us as well.
Yeah.
But just as well, yeah. Back when I was doing the whole magazine stuff, I was tried to do, like a poster design and try to do the artwork myself too. So,
Mm.
I mean, we're me as a person and like us, me, Nino, like our whole brand and business is very DIY
Yep.
roots.
Yes. I love that.
So we printed that. We printed the sweater ourselves. I created the design, but Nino printed it. This was done from a different artist,
Hmm.
but it was also printed from someone else as well.
Right.
But dude, like
But
we
still
we
right on
mainly
brand with
we
Realm Drifter, and it's
yeah.
similar, you know, goes in trend with
This was
some of the
the
stuff I've seen
whole
you do as well.
yeah, I like the whole books because that goes in line with like the
Hash and yeah.
the whole written concept that I had wanted to focus on as well. I still do want to do that printed medium
Right.
kind of form with this as well.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
That's cool.
It's just the putting in that work.
Right. And
Got
I
to do
also
it.
want to say thank you for letting me get a graphic that supports Realm Drifter as well. You know, I really appreciate that as well because, again, it gets the creative juices going. And it's artwork that I had that I just was like, man, I've done it just out of the passion of drawing and creating. And then to be able to put use to it and see other people take value with it is really cool. You know, it's always nice to see somebody wearing or supporting something that you've done without knowing who they are or where they got it and
Right.
stuff like that too. That's really cool.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, as far as Nino, you mentioned Nino and printing and stuff in the screen printing with the T-shirts, printing possibly a print zine
Right.
or
Right.
or
The
newspaper.
newspaper.
Right, right. And so, as far as those future projects, what about anything happening for the new season? Summertime is over now. We're going into the holiday season. You guys have any plans for next event and
Well, we
coming?
have we have a couple productions that we're still working on for the release.
Hmm.
We have a production with local band Sun Jelly.
Sun Jelly?
Sun Jelly. We did a music video with them in our at our old studio. And as well, we did a music video production with another band, local Soul Seller.
Soul Seller.
Yeah. So we're still working on the details for an event because the whole idea is like do the production, release it, and then have an event in support of the production. So
Yes, yeah.
we're just getting the details lined out, but we have Sun Jelly and Soul Seller coming up. Those were recorded at our old studio,
And that
but
was in San
that
Marcos?
was in San Marcos. That was the Gloria Death Studios.
Okay,
But we've since moved out, saving up, trying to change a little focus a little bit.
right.
So moving forward, after that, I think our plan is to take our production setup either into the band's own studio, rehearsal studio, or rent out or try and find some sort of location that we can do the production at.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
It'd feel more like a music video, like a video for the song
Right, and
that
I
way.
think the change in the environment, having it be in a different environment rather than the same studio,
Hmm.
would bring a sense of, a beneficial sense to it.
Right, right,
Each film and production would definitely be unique.
right.
in that sense.
I think you guys have done a really good job at keeping each edit completely different, but yet still on brand to tell like, okay, that still feels like that's a Realm Drifter production.
Right.
However, each band would feel like it's different enough to feel that they have got their own unique, showing their band by itself and like its own character, you know.
Right.
And I think that's important because and tough, you know, very challenging to do. So that's why I'm giving you props
Yeah.
because it's easy to, you know, do in the same studio, which was really cool. I like the way the backdrop was. If anybody hasn't seen it, go to at Realm Drifter Mag on Instagram, and
We have a YouTube page where all of our full length productions are at.
nice,
Yeah.
and you can see some of the edits, see a lot of new local bands, and if you ever just want to, you know, hear music that's out of your comfort zone right now already, it's really good, and it's music that is again timeless classic rock or psych rock, psychedelic rock. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so I've had the pleasure of being with some of these guys. Like I partied with the guys from Muerte and with Bear from American Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And are there any scenarios that you had that was like, whoa, this is really rock star type partying, and like, whoa, this needs, I got to go back to a job and I got to like get back to it and stuff. This is like almost too much. Have you ever had a scenario like that?
I mean, I think one of my most like favorite productions as far as like how I don't know how wild I guess it might have
Like party
gotten.
like a rock star,
And it
you
wasn't
know?
very wild, but it was a goddamn fun time.
Uh-huh.
It got a little weird.
Uh-huh.
That was with American Bear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
got a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
And a great sense of humor.
Yeah,
Good
he's fun.
energy.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
And that was a fun production to be with. We ended up, I had some mannequins, uh, so like you know from the old Target stores or whatever. I
Yeah.
have two of them, and we ended up using them as part of the production.
Right.
We had Nino had this light projector set up that was projecting you know all kinds of psychedelic shit onto the walls,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had like you know they were dressed up and like you know looking all weird and wacky, and then they had the mannequins and they were doing all weird shit to the mannequins. And we used that as like B-roll over
All right.
their video.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It was
And
fun.
it's cool getting creative and loose for each band. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's one of
that
those unique
was
features that only American Bear can.
right. Yeah, we haven't done anything like that with anyone else.
Right. And the little bit of time I partied with Bear, he is definitely a rock star, I'd say, and made me feel like I was in the presence of a rock star, and just made me wonder what it would be like if I was in my 20s, would I be able to hang, you know? I was like, hey, I don't know, you know? So, yeah, that's a cool thing, man. And he's
Yeah,
good laughs the whole time.
You
and
gotta
just,
be prepared
yeah.
when you hang out with that guy.
Hey, I have a lot of friends that are like that, and some people say I can be like that. So, yeah, I know how that is.
No, but he's cool. I love that guy.
That's cool. And I was talking to him about hoping to use some of his music with American Bear for footage that we use with Kita brand and PSYOP, and even, you know, just different events that we have to invite him to other stuff, you know, once we actually get to do some of the events that will be helping autism and stuff like that
Nice.
in the future. So, you know, hopefully, but then I thought, well, dang, is that too much of a rock star to be at some of those events, you know? So we just have to gauge the event and go from there. You know what I mean?
It'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm sure, I'm sure. And so you mentioned something else that I want to give props to, and that is the light and projector guys. Because see, it's kind of like the cameraman is the DJ. Some people just don't think about him. They think about the MC all the time, or the front guy and the vocalist. They don't really think about the drummer. You know, rarely gets the footage.
Or the bassist.
So, right. So when we're out videoing the bands, I make sure to get all the different people that are in the band to make sure that they get their shine. So when we put an edit together, it's gonna, you know, everybody feel like they're part of that band. You know what I'm saying? And so another forgotten talent is the cameraman, of course, the sound man, and as well as our projector guys that we were using in some of these events. Some of them do great work, like psychedelic stuff. It looks like the walls are melting. Some
Luke
of them
does a great job.
getting like really psychedelic stuff from the 60s. And who is that out in Joshua Tree as well? Did you?
Oh, that was Ivan.
Ivan.
We did a kind of like a small production on him.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Luke at Illuminati Telethon and Ivan.
That's
I
what's up.
forget his at.
Hey, that's okay. It's a thought that counts. We're putting it out there for you, bro. Cool. Hopefully he sees this and he knows the love is there. That's what's up. That's what's up. And so when you're saying about working with different businesses, I already mentioned Booze Bros with his grape in Vista. I know they have other locations as well, but the one in Vista, to me, it's really great because it's in a zone that a lot of the skateboard industry is. And so basically, they'll have video premieres for skateboarders and skate companies to go to and be able to check out, as well as have all the friends come after work and get a good drink without having to, go too far from work, and then be able to just enjoy good music with the stage presence there, and good burgers. I think they have the Happy Burger or something like that.
Party burgers.
Party Burger, that's what it is. And so I just want to give a shout out because they are good and they've been very hospitable to us when we're there.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, thank you very much to those guys. And
yeah,
we visit all their
heavy
locations.
With them.
What's that?
We've worked a lot with them.
Yep.
So definitely big shout out to Booze Brothers, Poorhouse
in Oceanside on Coast Highway as well. Also a really good place for premieres. And again, the skate culture, the surf culture, the community is there and supports them all. It's really good because even when there aren't big events, the homies are always can be found at one of those two spots for sure. Huh?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. And so with that being said, with skateboarding and stuff, I know you're not much of a skateboarder, but with the projects that we've been working on together, PSYOP is a future project that should be launching before too long. And we've already started to put some digital assets on the books there. And so with what we did back in the day with Space Wax, going skateboarding with those guys down there, how did you feel being on the scene, watching skating and just videoing skating and that whole project? You got a tattoo out of it too, right?
Oh yeah. He gave me he gave me a tattoo. And we used that as part of the production, as a feature on him as a tattoo artist, and
right.
He does great work, the American standard, like old school American style.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was cool. Just hanging around. It is a different kind of scene for me. I'm not a skater, but I mean, I love the sport, and I think the act of it is also something that can be releasing for someone who isn't trying to take it in a seriously competitive way. It's an act of a release and a good feel good getaway for some people who might need it.
That's right.
Some people I don't know, go hiking. Some people take a walk on the beach. Some people go and skate. So
Right.
it's I can truly value it for having it be a real outlet for people to get in the right space of mind or something like that, and as a real skill to have to do some of those crazy fucking things that they do.
Right. Yeah.
That I would not be able to do at all, like not even close.
That's
I can
funny.
barely ollie, bro, like
Right.
but I can't even like ollie while moving. That's
funny.
stand still.
Right.
Yeah, but I can't even fucking dude.
That's why they call it the devil's toy, because everybody's got a good skateboard story where they got taken out, or they just don't even bother to try it at all, because they know they get taken out.
I should just tell people I was skating, and that's how I injured myself.
Right. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I was trying to give you some cred and give you some stripes with the community and stuff,
I kind of wish, because then I would have an answer to that, but...
Right. That's why I said crowd surfing, because I knew you didn't skate, and I know you don't surf, but maybe crowd surfing in a band.
I was like wrestling something in my sleep or something.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, no, that's funny though. I love it. I do love the sport, and it's a huge. It has also a big comparison with like the music scene that we're in too.
Yes.
A lot of like hard rock, heavy metal. It's very, very, I don't know, it's very similar to the kind of mindset and I don't know, just kind of vibes that skating.
There's definitely a big part of skateboarding that is influenced and driven by that kind of that genre of music.
Like Thrasher Mag is freaking
pretty much that's the Bible of skating,
right.
and that says it all with Thrasher,
Right.
And plus with it too, it's like skateboarding's kind of like with music. You have genres of each type of almost music genre, so it's like
nowadays you got the ramps,
in the
you
head.
got the street.
Well, no, I mean more like think about it. You go into the record store, right, and you want to get your category of music, that you might get. If you remember record store kids, those were pretty cool to go into back in the day. I used to like to check out the artwork and just all the crazy names, and there's always characters in there and stuff. Normies looking at cool music and stuff. But what is it? Basically, you go into some spots and some stuff's like super emo. know what I mean? And you can find those emo or gothic or like the Hessian or the fresh. You know, some guys actually skate in diamonds and gold, and they keep a backpack full of tees because they don't, even when they're not filming, they don't want to be landing a trick in a dirty T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? And then there's some guys that you know, do the total opposite. They only wear the same shirt and pants for that week because if they're on a good one, they can't change it until the streak is over. You know, they
Gnarly.
stop bending. You know,
Gnarly.
so you know, I get it. But then you also have the guys that are super athletes about it as well. You know, and they're almost like jocks, and you know, it's a whole nother approach to it. And so that's why I say it's kind of like music, because those guys you'll see usually are listening to music that you'll hear in the gym more than, you know, people that are like out at a club or, you know, house party or things of the nature and stuff. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And then a lot of the heads that are into surfing, and to bring that in with skating, just to tie in the Kita brand as well, and how I tap into and appreciate what you're doing is that a lot of the music in the time of the era that surfing was breaking out of its, I guess, Gidget stage from the 50s and being kind of stale with just kind of just a different, you know, not much movement because the way the boards were not very functional. Once people started getting more psychedelic in the later 60s and 70s, surfboard design also started to get where people are more maneuver and performance, as well as psychedelic music is really the biggest part of the influence of that music during that time.
Nice.
And some of my favorites from Buttons and a lot of other heads, Jerry Lopez, they're from that era, and I Shape Surfboards, and some of the influences from those guys during that era, where it was just really just mind expanding and just trying to see what's possible in these scenarios. And again, what they're doing when they're shaping is again just listening to psychedelic rock, feeling it with their friends, you know what I mean, and just being creative, you know, and then seeing if it worked. Like I said, trying it that once, you got that one shot, you know, because every wave is different when you're out there, and it might get broken, you might get broken or bead, and still it's all about the experience and having fun and just being in tune and flowing, you know what I mean, and having fun, you know what I mean,
Right.
hopefully with your friends and stuff.
I think that's the value that you'd get, whether it is either in like a sport or an art form,
Yeah.
music or painting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have that concept of like of having it be your, you know, whether or not you can repeat it as however many times, really like you every time you do is that moment, and it, you know, be doing it and having it being done is unique, you know.
Yes, yes. And how about this one? So many people, just comparing the two, surf skate and psych rock, how many people have not been there for their families because they were out partying, surfing, skating? How many people were, you know, just being, you know, just on a whole nother mindset and just a whole nother, again, way of life and approach to be like, hey, we're blessed to be tapped into surfing, skating, music, going out to parties. Like, oh, it's work to go out to meet these bands and these cool heads and get some good food, you know what I mean, and make good money with my good friends, you know what I mean. It's like it's an amazing thing, but at the same time, it's like, oh, my life, I guess I just had to go work, and you know, we both have jobs, but they're not bad jobs, you know what I mean, when you think about the industries. And so to be able to be blessed to have the lifestyle we do, where we do, North County, San Diego, you know, right here at Oceanside, I surf and skate almost every single day, you know, listen to good music and good times, you know, and sometimes enjoy psychedelics almost every day. So microdosing or however, you know, but the moral of the story is still that, man, I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to be on this journey with you, David.
Thanks,
you very
brother.
much.
I agree. We
Yeah.
definitely got it good. We got a special place, and I would like to continue to try and show a spotlight onto the aspects that I really enjoy about it and what I want to try and to support. Yeah.
Cool. So where can people find you? Follow you on
Follow
Instagram or
us
something?
at Rome Drifter Mag, Instagram. That's the
Mhm.
best thing.
Cool.
Um,
Follow me at Kita_71. That's KEITA _71, or Kita Brand on Instagram, or KitaBrand.com.
yeah, be on the lookout. We got some shit coming up.
Yep, yep. And if you need any kind of camera work or audio work, you can also find David at ITE Media.
Our services are available for hire.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
ite.media.
Instagram, correct?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. All right. I guess it's going to be winding up for us here at Crop Circle Podcast. I am Raul Kita Kishina. And man, thanks again for joining us here. This was the books in the books. Like I said, we had that one chance and we did it, man.
There you go.
Once again, one more project in the
Yes,
books.
sir. Glad to be here. Thanks, man.
Likewise, bro. Thank you. Thank
Cheers.
you very
Oh
much.
yeah. Thank you
So
guys.
next time we come by, I'm going to be doing my best to get into more weird topics. Like you said, hearing about psychedelics is kind of out there. Again, crop circles, it's something that people don't always want to talk about. Kind of in the dark, kind of something that is also a pharmaceutical, if you want to say farms and crop circles. But show really isn't about crop circles. It's just really about far out concepts. And we just really want to shift people's mindsets, shift people's lifestyles, and just explore our imagination and have fun doing so. And with surfboards and skateboards and music as our vehicle. All right. All right. Again, my name's Kita. Have a good one. See you guys out there. Peace.